Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. And honestly, today definitely wasn't my best day unless you're talking about crypto profits. Oh boy, did I get some lucky and amazing trades in, and today I want to tell you guys a little bit more about that and what I'm looking for. But on a side note, we are giving away 100 XRP if this video can get to 1500 likes today. All you have to do to enter is make sure you press the like button, make sure you are subscribed, and make sure you comment something down below. One of the videos from yesterday, I believe, got to 1430, so it's definitely possible. Just make sure you press the like. Having said that, let me quickly show you guys what exactly I have been up to in the XRP and Bitcoin department. So with XRP, I'm actually quite indecisive right now. I told you guys a couple of days ago already, because everything has been clear for a couple of weeks, that we need to breach this 48, 49-ish cent level. Some might say 50 cents, but I think it's a little bit below that, before we can actually talk about anything really bullish. Now, can this happen in a day or two? Yes. But do we need to get there first? Yes. And here we got rejected. Theoretically speaking, I could have opened a short, but since we already tried it once here, I wasn't really too sure about that. You might say, okay, 3 times a charm, right? It hit it once, twice, 3 times. Now I should have shorted, but I didn't, mostly because I'm always a little bit afraid to do that with XRP. But I could have definitely done it because we were talking about it. And if we're still on the topic of we were talking about it, here are 2 trades that I actually did with a couple of the guys in Discord, a couple of my friends, and well, this is basically how it went. We went into a long position on Bitcoin. First of all, I believe on March, somewhere around this time here, we went into a long position. I personally got liquidated. Some of the guys actually got stopped out, didn't get liquidated. Some of the guys actually had a very low point though. What do you call it again? Very low liquidation point without a stop loss. I work with a stop loss and then I got stopped out. The reason I decided to buy here is because, well, following my analysis, it was confirmed basically that we were going to go on with this run basically. Well, it got stopped out, so that's a little bit of a loss. However, I was waiting for another nice entry. I got one right here. That's again the previous trade. We already talked about that a couple of videos ago. And I got another one right here. So what happened basically is we breached one of my important levels, right? And this is just one of the levels. If we're on the exchange, I have more open, but this is just to give you guys a little bit of an idea. In this case here, you can just consider these Fibonacci points as important ones. And even then, if you go with this strategy, I believe you'll win most of the time, if we're honestly talking. I still think you'll win most of the time. So what I usually go for is whenever we get a huge breach, like a huge breach happening, and then a confirming candle like here, I open a long, right? So here, for example, if we're to go for a 1% or so, could have easily worked out. Like let's say right here, I would have opened it right around the mid, for example. So that would have looked like, for example, this right here. If I were to go for 3.5%, wouldn't have worked, but a 1% could have definitely easily worked. And again, keep in mind, this is times 20, all right? All the leverage trades are times 20. So if it were to be a 1-to-1, if I go for 1%, it's a 1-to-1. This could have easily worked, would have gotten ourselves a nice profit, boom, bada bang, right? That's just a little bit of an example. What happened here was we breached the 0.382 Fibonacci level from our previous high at about February 21st to right around this, when was it now exactly? February 28th low. I took the Fibonacci from that. And the first time we breached this level, which we already tested once, you might say twice, basically the zone, but we basically tested it once. Once we now got there and breached it, we breached it with some severity. So the second candle, which is basically the confirming candle, I bought in, did that. And in this case here, since it was such a valid move, and we actually broke the next one quite shortly after a couple of tests, I decided to go for a 7%er, right? So I basically have 2 targets. I usually go for 1% if it's a 50, a little bit of a risky one, a 3.5% if I were to just do it normally, and basically a 7%er if I just feel as if this is going to be a big move and that I might use a trailing stop loss, just take up the profit along the way. It just depends a little bit on my feel. I don't have a strict rhythm for that because it works the way I do it right now. So in this case here, I thought about a 7%. I put here 7.16, but it was about 7%, which is again times 20, and it worked out perfectly. All right, we got an entry here. I think it's a little bit higher than that. It's like right around the middle of this candle. So it's right around there possibly, and the profit should be right around here somewhere. Got perfectly out of it right here. I could have shorted because we was actually in a video call late last night. So Some of my friends also have positions open, and we were discussing, all right? We all know Bitcoin's gonna fall right now, but how far is it gonna go? Should we get out of our position or let it just ride because we know Bitcoin's all-time high is gonna be hit one of these days? So a lot of my friends decided to also go out with me here because I thought, you know what? We already have more than 100% profit. Let's just go out and be safe. Everybody did that. And right now, this morning, yeah, I actually decided to open up another trade. I wanted to make this video like literally the second that this happened, right? So that is at about, I think 12 p.m. On this one. I believe it was 1 p.m. my time. I wanted to make a video, but unfortunately, as I just said at the start, it wasn't the perfect day for me. It was a little bit later, but that's again when I opened my position or when I wanted to talk about my open position, and it has now been stopped at 3.5% because I'm not going to wait for this breach. I still think it's going to happen, but I'm not going to wait for it, right? What I'm basically going to be doing is waiting for another green candle to come out here, like I've just explained, and once we get another green candle coming up afterwards, you see some severity, which basically you might do with some other indicators, or you'll know that is basically a severe move. That's the way I like to put it. Then I might go for it, right? But for right now, this here, you might say, okay, if we draw a line at right this top, basically, which you might say we retested, there wasn't any severe breakout here, right? It's a red candle right afterwards, so I wouldn't go for it. And by the way, you can work your way down from a 1 week to a 1 hour or a 4 hour, depending, of course, on how long you want to go with these trades for. With XRP, I usually like to go for longer terms, but it just depends as well on my mood and who I'm trading with. Because if I'm doing it alone, I have a completely different style than when I'm doing it with the team. Having said that, man, I've been reading so many XRP ideas as well. It's so funny. There are so many differences in how people like to see these charts and what they think in terms of profit and what they go for. But in my opinion, guys, if you really are wanting to go for, you know, a 5% or so profit, a 10% profit or so with XRP, that is again not talking about this, right? Because consider, whatever I'm talking about here is leveraged trading. This means whenever I open something and it's at 3% profit, this is actually 3.5 times 20. Now, of course, you're not trading with as much money as I would on a normal trade, a one-to-one trade basically. But still, it is all leverage times 20. So a 5% gain is 100%. Consider that. All right. If I'm just using a balance, for example, to buy in XRP, I usually go with way bigger balances because, hey, I'm trying to get myself a better entry or something like that. But honestly, I've done this for so long, and I kind of noticed that it's not worth the risk for me. I just saw a couple of tweets earlier today, and I don't have it open anymore, but it was basically talking about how what you do very often is you, for example, buy in right here, you sell it right here, and then try to buy back cheaper, but sometimes the chance just never comes, right? That's, for example, if, let's say you bought right here, sold right here, and now you're waiting for a better point to buy in, but it just keeps going higher, a little bit higher, and all of a sudden there's a breakout, like is, for example, predicted here. This has happened to so many people I know, and even for all, I believe, KLV, whatever the crypto's name is, holders, something similar like this has happened, and that's also the story I saw on Twitter. I've had this before, and I think most guys in the comment section have had this before too, that you sell some coin and really quickly afterwards, it just booms. And that doesn't mean you didn't make profit because, for example, AVA, right? I made a ton of profit on that coin because I basically thought I had $0 and all of a sudden I had a lot. But I sold it all at $65, except for like maybe, I don't know, maybe like maybe a couple AVA still left. I'm not sure exactly how much. But then think about it, guys. If I just kept all my AVA at $65, yeah, that would have been nice, huh? That definitely would have been nice. But hey, you cannot predict that type of stuff. So what I've learned is to not sell too many altcoins if we're talking about my portfolio, unless you are really sure it's going to happen. But I don't trust these guys to talk about this unless, again, I'm doing some leverage position or so. But then if I'm doing that, I'm not going to trust any one of these traders either way. So I think your best bet, honestly, it sounds strange, but your best bet is with some of these analyze YouTuber guys, because you can really learn something from those. You can learn what they see in the chart, learn everything. If you're going to read it here, I personally believe you're not always going to get a very good understanding of what exactly they do and how they made all of this, because you might be able to understand why, right? Why they put it this way a little bit afterwards, but not up front. You don't know how to spot it, basically, right? And that's also what I think a lot of these guys on YouTube do, is they try to teach you how to spot it. In this case, this is a good example of what I like to watch, what type of stuff, because hey, it clicks inside your head. It's like, hey, yeah, I see the similarities. I see what you're trying to draw. I see what you're saying. this has some validity to it. And then I would read the whole full story and see for myself if I like it or not. Most of them are trying to sell you something, by the way. But if you see through that a little bit, some are very valid, like this one, for example. And then, on XRP, a little fun fact is we're also all talking about this horizontal resistance over there. But in my opinion, this 50 cent, 49 cents or so resistance is the most interesting one. Let's see us breach it really within a snap, though. The moment we breach, we're going to breach hard. I've also said that on Twitter. It's going to be explosive. A little side note, guys, go check out GSX. A link will be down below. It is the first gold-backed coin, and I'm not saying that I'm 100% sure this is going to work out, but I did put a couple $1,000s into it. I still have it in there, and right now it's 10 cents a coin, plus an 8% bonus, plus a 5% bonus for using my link, and I'm just hoping that we can get a times 25 or times 40, times 50 return on this one. I'm just hoping for it, right? And as I've explained before in one of my videos, it's all about your own risk to reward ratio. And me, I'm trying it out with some money. We'll see what happens, right? If I lose it, I lose it. If we win big, there we go. Then Ripple presses on, despite losing MoneyGram partnership, will XRP react? A lot of people were asking me whether or not the price would react negatively to stuff like this. And it really made me wonder, what type of stuff could make the price for XRP, because I don't care about the MoneyGram price, I care about the XRP price. What type of things could make the XRP price basically go down in this type of regard? By the way, it's getting stuck, so I'm going to quickly close that tab. It started to lag really heavily. And, from my own perspective, I believe that a partnership like MoneyGram, it really is mostly trivial because it's a part throughout the way, and it's nice that they have the partnership, but it's not the big deal. We are waiting for some huge banks, some huge adoption. I'm talking huge, not a small MoneyGram. Yeah, you might say they're one of the biggest in the world. Okay, but they're not the biggest, right? And that's, again, what we're still waiting for, and I still think is going to happen. But, the big thing, I guess, is just this lawsuit. That's all that's going to matter right now. People really care about that one. If one partnership goes wrong, something like that, nobody's going to care. MoneyGram stopped them. I don't really care. Why should you? It's all about this lawsuit because I think everybody knows if they win, at times 10, at times 15, I still think it's all pretty simple. Mostly because XRP is then properly regulated. People have been waiting on this for so long. And as for example, Ethereum, it's already at 1.5 times all-time high. Bitcoin is already doubled, far doubled, maybe even almost tripled all-time high. XRP, I think, can easily do the same in due time. From $318,000 to $0, Bitcoin price prediction from 2021. Guys, please don't worry yourself with this type of stuff. If you've ever wondered what some of these big guys are thinking about Bitcoin, reconsider, because you shouldn't care. They all throw up something for their own agenda, all right? It's really not in your own benefit to listen to them even, unless you want to have a laugh and you're in for a little treat in the comedy department, then okay, maybe go for it. Then proof of stake is coming to Ethereum sooner than we think. Today marks a big next step in terms of proof of stake. And by the way, I have check out the link down below for Prime XBT if you want to know where I'm trading all these futures on. Not XRP, by the way. I only do it for Bitcoin. There's a couple others you could trade, but I do Bitcoin on there. And in hindsight, could I have gone for this one for a 7%er? Potentially, all right? But the problem also is that it's a little bit above this line, which I don't like. Our previous high, basically. So I might have had to had a better entry. And I mean, sometimes you don't got to be greedy, right? 3.5% times 20, calculate for your little self right now. It's still extremely worth it, in my opinion. But also, again, Prime XBT, I'll leave a link down below, is the one I'm trading on right now with these futures. Proof of stake is coming, or margin. Proof of stake is coming to Ethereum soon, or even sooner than we think. Today marks a big step in turning to a proof of stake. A GitHub pull request was just submitted to add proof of stake consensus driven by the Beacon chain. Well, guys, I don't really care about all these updates either, honestly. We'll just get there when we get there, saying, oh, it might happen a little bit faster. We'll see. This is all just these big guys trying to push out something, saying, oh, yeah, but this came out just a little bit earlier than expected. Well, okay, but maybe something's going to go wrong along the way. Let's just wait and let us see. Let us wait and let us see. If we have clear confirmations, let's move, let's act. However, the only reason I decided to cover it still, though, is because, well, from a certain perspective, you might call this another confirmation that the the staking is coming, and thus we might, from a investor's perspective, should put some more money into it. We might have to put some more money into it just because this is all really close. And if Ethereum didn't react to it, it most likely means people don't care, which I, kind of agree to. But maybe as time moves on and this news kind of kicks in and it goes through a little bit, that people will actually put in more. It could be. So that's again why I decided to show it. Then 136 million XRP wired by Ripple's Chris Larsen and several crypto exchanges. Honestly, guys, I like to put this in the title. I might even do so once more because I'm a guy like that. But is it really relevant? No, no, no. This type of stuff shouldn't bother you because we don't know what's going on. You might say, but Dusty, are the founders selling it all? Are they doing? Could be, but we don't know. In this case here, Uphold, the exchange, wired 19 million XRP to Ripple Funding Wallet 1, activated by Chris Larsen. The Ripple co-founder and his former CEO transferred 74 million XRP between his wallets, an amount that equals to about 35 million bucks. The question is, why did he do that? And the same thing for all this XRP that Jim McCaleb has been selling, 108 million XRP in the past week. Is it relevant? Well, kinda, because I guess he's just selling a lot of it and thus, well, it's interesting to see all the downward pressure. But from a different perspective, as I said before, he is getting rid of it and other people are buying it, right? He's hopefully getting rid of as much as he can because he doesn't work in the best interest of XRP. I see this here on the side. InfoWars' Alex Jones lost laptop with $560 million worth of Bitcoin. Okay, that's heavy. Bitcoin whales move 5,000 Bitcoin from inactive address. I also want to quickly say, if you ever see these things happening, I'm personally going to tell you guys to not worry too much. Can you take this as advice? No, not at all. I'm just a random guy on the internet. I'm not your dad. But it's really not that big of a deal because you think about it. These guys might have held for so extremely long. If they said to sell something, it's their God-given right to take some money. It could be for such a huge multitude of reasons, and you'd never know if they really are selling. All we know, though, is that a lot of these accounts who've stayed quiet for so many years now, which are the big addresses with thousands of Bitcoin, they're starting to split some. But that could be for a multitude of reasons. That could be so many that it's not even worth it to cover. At its peak, well over 128 addresses held 10,000 or more Bitcoin in 2017. The numbers have dwindled since. Now, less than 90 addresses hold this amount. Yeah, okay, not a real big deal, but all right. Then Cardano investment could have yielded over 2,000% returns. Not actually a really relevant article anymore. I didn't make the video too much about Cardano. And last was GSX, but we already covered that one. So yeah, hopefully you guys all enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe. And I will definitely see you guys again in another crypto vid. Take care, everybody, and have a very nice day.